Hello guys, welcome back. I'm your host, Linux Sanape, and without further ado, let's get started. So today, what we're going to discuss is how to log into your Linux virtual machine from your host machine without a password. It's very simple, very easy. We're going to record going through it step by step today. But if you wanted to go in and read an article about it that I wrote, just go to jaquezingram.online and you'll be able to see this article that I wrote detailing every step. All right. So before we get into it, the reason why this is important, why you want to do this, this is going to come in handy when you're dealing with Terraform, when you're dealing with Ansible, especially if you don't want to put your credentials within the Terraform script or the Ansible playbook, which is not good security practice to include your credentials in that. All right. So without further ado, let's get started. So the first thing you want to do is you want to enter this command, which I'm about to show you here in a second. All right, so we have this command here. And like I said, if you need to get this command, just come to jaquezingram.online. It's the most recent post that I put up. And you want to copy that and you want to paste it. All right, paste it right here in the terminal. Remember, when you're doing a terminal, it's not Control V, it's Control Shift V. All right. So once you hit enter on that command, what's going to happen is a key is going to be generated, right? So you're going to have a private key and you're going to have a public key. The public key is the one we'll be working with today. But even further than that, you're actually going to receive or going to have a folder that's going to be created. So I know you may be saying, hey, Linux Lenape, what folder are you referring to? So we already went over the ls command. So if you hit ls, you see I have a few things here. I don't see the folder I'm looking for. So this is what's called a hidden folder. So whether you know it or not, your Linux virtual machine or your Linux host machine has what's called hidden folders. The way to expose them is to type ls and then put -a at the end. And boom, we have a number of folders that pop up because you entered that particular command, right? Now, the folder that we're looking for is the .ssh folder. So what you'll realize and notice is that before you run the command that we just went over, this folder won't exist. But after you run that command, you'll see the .ssh folder. So if you cd into that folder, you'll see that you'll have the key, right? You'll have the public key. You have known hosts, which is important. You'll have the private key, which is the first one right over here. So the only thing you'll have to do from now is to cat into the public key, which of course for security purposes I won't show here on the video, but this is what you would do. Now you'll see a very long key with numbers and letters. So what you're going to want to do is copy that. All right. Now, once you have your public key copied, then you can now SSH into your virtual machine. As you can see, it worked without the password right there, right? All right. So now what you need to do is you need to find the known host file. All right. And as we know, if you ls, you don't see anything, but if you ls-a, you'll see your hidden folders. So same thing on this side, you have the SSH directory here. So you would cd into SSH. And what you're going to want to do is, I use Nano personally. I know some people use Vim and VI for your text editor within your virtual machine. And we'll go more into detail with that later. But you're going to want to nano into your known host. And once you press enter, you're going to see more than likely a blank screen if you haven't done this before, right? All you have to do is paste your key that you copied from your host machine into the known host folder. And then once you do that, you have to exit. And it could be a safe bet to restart the virtual machine. So for those of you who don't know, enter the reboot command, it'll restart the virtual machine. So now, once you exit and you come back to your host machine, right? Let's go back to the home. Let's reset. You should notice now that when you SSH into your virtual machine, you would no longer be prompted for a password. That simple, that quick, that easy. That's all you have to do. Like I said, this can be very important when you're dealing with Ansible, when you're dealing with Terraform, and you need those scripts to run without prompting you for credentials to get into your virtual machine. Because 9 times out of 10, it would definitely give you an error if you don't already have that configured. And that's pretty much it. We went over password. Let's sign in today from your host machine to your virtual machine. Once again, I'm your host, Linux Lenape. Stay tuned for another Lenape lesson.